Hello and welcome to the Bed Podcast. Today we are joined by Leicester legend Danny Washbrook. Thanks for coming on.
No worries, thanks for having me.
So start off with your rugby career, like how did you get started and everything like
that? I started at a team called Humber Social Club. They're not around anymore. They only had two teams at the time. I think it was an under 8s or under 9s, and an under 12s or something like that, and a couple of my mates who lived down the street. I played for them. They played on Pelican Park, which is just at the end of the street where I lived. So I just went down there one day, and I think I trained once, and then they said, "Oh, we've got a friendly tomorrow if you want to play." And I played, and I sort of didn't know what I was doing. And they just said, "Just put your head down and run as hard as you can." And the first time I did it, I managed to score a try. So then I was hooked from then on. So I played for them for I think about 3 or 4 years, and then we joined up with Scala because we only had one team. The other team had sort of broke up, so it was just us. And we joined up with Scala and then played with them until I was 15, and then went to play for Long Hill for a couple of years.
Fair enough. Obviously with the youth days, how did you get snapped up by all? Or
I actually started at Rovers. So because I played at Scala, we was on our right team. Was probably like a mid-table team in our age group, and the sort of the better teams, which was Long Hill, who we ended up going to play for, and Mighton Warriors, and sort of all their players went onto the Hull FC scholarship, and everybody else went onto the Rovers one. And at the time, Rovers was in the Championship, so that was probably why Hull was probably seen as the bigger, better club because they was in the Super League. And then I'd been at Rovers for about a year, maybe. I think that was under 14s scholarship, and I got a phone call off Steve Crooks just to say, "Look, we've been to see you play, and we think that we'd like you to come and be on our scholarship instead." So I jumped ship.
Right. What year was that? Like, obviously, because
I think it was like under 15, so I'll have been maybe the year 2000, 99 or 2000, something like that.
Right. So who was there all at the time? Like, obviously in the academy at the time when you joined.
So I was just in the scholarship, like under 15s, 16s. In the academy at that time, it'd have probably been people like Craig Cook, Ian Bell, Sean Hill, Dean O'Loughlin, people like that. Mike Maguire. There was people like that. Probably Horney and Cookie as well. Although Horney obviously made his debut, and Cookie, and both of them I think played in like 99.
I think
so. Was obviously there was only young kids then, so they will have been in the academy, but obviously stepped up to first team.
You made your debut in 2005, I think I'm right in saying that, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, what was that like? What was making your debut like?
It was great. We'd been going sort of all right. And we was doing well in the cup, and we was playing well. As I was playing in the under 21s, and we was playing well. Like we was near the top of the table, and I was playing well personally. So I think Lasty had sort of been pushing for me, and even probably a couple of the others to get a chance. And John Keir obviously was the coach at the time, and he gave me a chance. I think I played four games off the bench within about 6 weeks or something like that. I think it was.
I mean, did you travel with the team to the cup final, or was that?
Not with the team, no. So they went down. I think they went down on the Thursday to play on the Saturday, and we travelled down on the Saturday morning. The rest of us, like, who weren't in the match day squad. Excuse me. And then like our partners, and then the partners of the players and stuff like that, and other staff. We all went down on the day of the game. But it was good to, like, we got to like go down and be pitch side when the final whistle went and stuff like
that. Obviously, was 2006 your breakout season where you kind of getting in the team regularly? I mean,
2006. Again, we as an academy team we was going really well. In 2005 we won the league, and then in 2006 we was playing well again. But the first team wasn't, they'd been knocked out of the Challenge Cup at Bradford. I think we'd lost maybe 3 or 4 of our first 7 or 8 games. So obviously John lost his job, and Rich took over. around the Easter period, I think it was, and they played the 2 games, and we picked up a couple of injuries, and the week after, I think it was, we was at Catalan, and that's when I got my chance. So I made my first start at Catalan, and then I think out of the next 20 games, I played 19 of them. I just had one game off.
Obviously, that 2016 was a very remember that team, because obviously they got to a grand final, and I mean they went on that 13 game unbeaten run, and I think, like, how was it obviously being a part of that team? Like, how did it feel being a part of that team?
Yeah, it felt great. I know that obviously because we'd not had a great start to the season, and we'd not had a great end to the season before. I know we won the Challenge Cup, but in the league, and then into the playoffs, I think we've only won 2 games after the cup final or something like that. We got knocked out of the playoffs, obviously, by Bradford, and then not started 2006 well. So, sort of coming into the team and then going on like a big winning streak, it just felt really good. Like, for me as a young kid, and all the more senior blokes, obviously Radders, Hawley, Cookie, Yemo, everybody like that, they was obviously really enjoying it, and the team was playing well, and Peter Sharp had come in, and he'd not really changed that much. He just made a few subtle little changes in defence, and sort of tried to sharpen up our skill and set up an attack and things like that. So he didn't do anything major, but I think the boys just felt a bit of confidence.
Do you reckon there was any characters in that team that maybe helped, obviously, how we went on such a good run, or was it just because you all played together and it was kind of like you had that confidence because we kept winning?
Yeah, it's one of them. It's one of them things. Like, once you start winning, it becomes a habit. And we was winning. Some teams we was hammering, and then other teams we was playing well and just winning, and then other times we weren't playing as good and just winning. But we had like a mixed bag. Obviously, there's like at the time Wigan weren't doing so great, but I think we hammered Wigan by about 40 points. We went away to St Helens and beat them.
Yeah, that was a massive one, obviously, because they were up at the top of the table.
It was good. I think in that run we pretty much beat everybody. So it was just, I think once you start winning, and we was playing well. It wasn't that we weren't playing well. Like most games we played well. So once you get the confidence, but obviously it goes the other way as well. Once you're in a bit of a run, it can be hard to get out of.
Obviously, I think 2006 grand final. What was that like? Obviously, going up on the day, how did that feel? Playing in an actual at Old Trafford at a final, what was that like? Obviously, being so young as well.
Yeah, it was great. Obviously, 12 months earlier, playing in the Academy Grand Final, been able in 2006 being in the Super League Grand Final, it was a bit surreal, and I probably didn't take it in as much as I should have done. I was probably just happy to be there, a 21-year-old at the time, playing in a grand final in my first sort of proper real season. I probably didn't experience it as much as I probably should have done, because I probably was a bit like, we'll be back here again. And then obviously we've never been back, or they've never been back, obviously. So it's, if I look back now, I probably wish I'd have taken it all in a bit more. I mean, I still really enjoyed it. Obviously, losing's never nice, but getting to play like such a prestigious stadium, and in like the biggest showpiece of Super.
And I mean, you played against the best team that year as well. Won obviously the treble that year, didn't they, St Helens? So I mean, losing against them is not obvious. I mean, it's obviously going, but it's against the best team of that year, I suppose. So you can't.
Yeah, we can't complain. And they had like half of their team was the makeup of the Great Britain team. It wasn't like there wasn't any good. There was a really good team, and like you say, they won the treble. So it was disappointing because we'd played them 3 times that season. I think we'd
beat them once, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we might have even won 2.
Yeah,
but I know we definitely won 1, and then obviously they won the one to get to the grand final. So, but even that was close. So we knew it was going to be close, and it was just maybe that try just before half time, which just maybe broke our hearts a bit.
Obviously, 2007. I mean, obviously probably wasn't a great year after what just happened. I mean, was the year Paul Cutcliffe won it as well for Rovers mid-season? Yeah, it was. Did that disrupt anything? Do you reckon? I mean,
100%. Cookie was massive for us at the time, playing well, and he was a big part of what we did. Him and Orney, they had a really good partnership, and Cookie playing down the left side. There was him and Gaz Rayner and Yemo all playing well, and I think that's when Danny Tickle had come as well, and he was maybe playing on that side as well, and they'd struck up a good partnership between them all, and it was disappointing when he left, but obviously he had his reason and things like that, and it is what it is. But it obviously did disrupt the team and disrupt how we played and things like that, and Matty Head came over and sort of plugged the gap for the rest of the season, and it wasn't too bad of a season. It wasn't as good as the season before. Obviously, we still made the playoffs, and we got beat by Wigan at home, which was disappointing. But at the time, they really improved from the year before. You know, they had some quality players playing for them, and it was disappointing. It was like a bit of a we didn't think we would lose. We was confident. We thought we'd win. So when we lost, it was a bit like, oh, that's it.
It was a shock to the system.
Yeah, so it wasn't the best.
Right. Obviously, 2008, you obviously got to Wembley again, played in St Helens. Was there any sort of I'm trying to think of the word, sort of revenge for obviously what happened in 2006? Kind of you had a bit of a point to prove in that final, or was it just?
Yeah, definitely. I think when we sort of sat down the night before the game, everybody who was playing and went through sort of what we was looking for, what was motivating us, how we was feeling and things like that. And a lot of the boys did say that we sort of owed not just St Helens one, but we owed sort of ourselves and the fans it as well, because in 2006 we got to the grand final, and it was that was a goal. We got to the grand final, but we didn't win it. Whereas one of our goals was to win the Challenge Cup, and we was in the finals. So that we still had a step to go. And we wasn't playing very good that year. In the cup we was, but in the league we was just hit and miss. So I think we give it our all, and again, Saints that year was again one of the best teams knocking about in Super League era. But I think after 60 minutes it was neck and neck.
Very close, wasn't it? And then obviously did it feel a bit? Was that because obviously you want to win at Wembley as well because of the hoodoo that was there? So did that feel a bit going when you lost? Obviously,
I don't remember the talk of it like that at the time. So obviously when we got back there in 16, that was all anybody spoke about. But in 2008, I can't really remember much of it being. I mean, there might have been when obviously they went again in 2013, but obviously I wasn't there then. So there may have been some talk of it then. I can't remember. I can't really remember it much in 2008.
I think we go to obviously leaving on and going on to Wakefield. Was that weird? I mean, obviously being at all the whole career, moving on to Wakefield, how did that come about? Was it kind of just?
So at the time, obviously there was a bit of a transition period going on with Hull. Obviously Adam had taken over, and he decided that he didn't want Rich Agar to be coach. So Rich had obviously told us that he would be moving on at the end of the season, but he didn't tell us where. And then Hull, they offered me a contract, but it was just the same sort of contracts that I was already on for 2 more years. And I spoke to a lad, it was Gaz Rayner. I spoke to Gaz Rayner about the situation, and Wakefield had come in for me, and they'd offered me a 3-year deal, and the money was a little bit better, but they'd sort of said you're going to be our starting 13. And I spoke to Gaz about it, and Gaz was like, well, what's the worst that can happen if you go to Wakefield? You're there and you're the number 13, you're the starting 13. He said, and you could play every game as their starting 13. He said, if you stay at Hull, sort of the past 2 years, I'd been in and out of the team because of injuries and selection and stuff like that. He said, you might have another 2 years just like that, and then you're 2 years down the line and in exactly the same spot. He said, if it was me, I'd go to Wakefield, and I took it on board, and obviously I went, and part of it was Rich obviously went there and he rang me and he said, look, I'd like you to come, this is how we're going to play, this is how I see you fitting in the team and things like that. So it was just it happened pretty quick, really.
Obviously I had a good few years at Wakefield. 2015 you played in the £1 million game. Was it already announced that you'd come back to Hull anyways? Because obviously
yes, it was. So everybody knew it had been announced, and everybody at Wakefield knew. So it was a bit of a weird one for me because a lot of the guys in the team had not got the future sorted, so there was staying at Wakefield. So it was a bit like, if we lose, or 15 of my mates are potentially losing the job. So, but obviously we won, and it was like one of the best wins of my career, really. Because there was so much riding on it for the club and for the players, and it's not just the players, is it? It's their families and things like that. So
very big win for Wakefield as well. Keeps them in the Super League. I think that Millington game is very like, it's quite worrying. Like, you lose it, you're gone. Like, it's very dependent on players' careers. Like, if obviously
it is. Well, I played with Nick Scruton at Wakefield, and we played in the £1 million game together. And then in 2000, at the end of the 16 season, he went to Rovers. He signed for Rovers, but then Rovers got relegated. So he said he was sat at home knowing in his head that he'd left Wakefield and was up, watching the £1 million game and watching Rovers get beat and go down. And he said,
it was only in the last like minute or so, wasn't it, where they like got beat. Like, you probably look at it thinking, oh, it's alright, I'm signing for a Super League team, but then all of a sudden Salford came back and won. It was like,
So I spoke to him about it, and he said he was literally just. He said he was sat watching it with his dad and his family, and everything was all rosy. And then he said all of a sudden, he said, the next thing I know, I'm sat upstairs with my head in my hands, thinking, what the hell's just gone on?
Obviously, then came back to Hull. Brad as coach, obviously. I mean, how did Brad get in touch with you, or was it like kind of just like, how did you go back to Hull?
In sort of towards the back end of the 2014 season, I bumped into Radders at Total Fitness, because obviously Hull trained there sometimes, and I still had a membership there. And I was talking to him about it, and that was obviously not long after he'd taken over. And he said, look, he said, I'd be interested in getting you back now. He said, but I don't have the room in the salary cap. He said, so unless we ship some players out, I can't sign you. And he said, and I don't think, if I am going to ship any players out, it's not going to be maybe until towards the season. He said, so I would want you to wait. So I'd been offered a deal at Wakefield, so I was like a 1 year deal, so I took that. And we sort of just said we'll speak again later in the year, and we did. And it just sort of, like, Wakefield weren't having a great season, and Hull, although they weren't playing particularly great, there was guaranteed Super League status for the next year. And I sort of felt like going back, I was a better player, so I could come back and maybe have a bit of a point to prove. So as soon as Radders said about it, I was more than welcome to come back.
Obviously came back into a brilliant team. I mean, joined the likes of Scott Taylor, Pritchard, Tuma Varvey, Simon, Zeke and Manu, obviously. Spoke about Pritchard with Shaw, obviously being such a big character. Like, what was it like for you? Like, obviously being, I mean, he was, I think, a great character for the club, but obviously, how was it like as players with him? Obviously?
Yeah, it was great. Frank's a legend. He was like, everybody loved him. He wasn't afraid to speak up if he thought something wasn't right. I mean, people probably get on his back a bit and say maybe for the wage he was getting paid, he maybe didn't perform as well as people expected, but he still performed at times and contributed to the team. And contributed to us, like, spending a lot of the season at the top of the table and winning the Challenge Cup. So I don't think anybody can be too harsh on him, like, for what he did, because he brought a lot of fans on side as well. The fans was really into him. He was really good with the fans. He was friendly, so I think he had a very positive influence overall on the group.
I think he was obviously a great character. He might not play his best rugby, but I still think he was an amazing character for the club anyways. Obviously, that 2016 team didn't start too well, did they? I think they won against Salford. Then I'm trying to think the results.
We won our first two. We beat Catalan away, didn't we? Went to Catalan and hammered Catalan.
And then obviously I think we got beat. Was it Widnes next? I think.
We lost the next three. We lost 3 in a row. We won the first two and then lost the next 3, and then from then on, I think
we beat Rovers, didn't we? I think. But I think Rovers was where we turned the season around, because we were getting beat 20-0, and then obviously came back, beat them, and then Easter Monday we beat a really young form Warrington team. And then I think we just got going from there, really. I think so. I remember beating St Helens in the cup, which was when I'm trying to. We hammered St Helens in the cup actually, didn't we? In 2016.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was sort of an hammering. Yeah, we did. It was a good game, but I think both years, 16 and 17, I think some of the performances we put in the cup games was some of the better, like the best performances an FC team has put together for ages. So, beating St Helens at St Helens was massive for us. And I think that probably gave us the belief that we could go on and win it, because obviously they was such a strong team at the time. And probably the league form, because we was winning a lot. I think that year we maybe won 11. 11 out of 13 games or something like that.
It was something really good like that. We went on a really good run out. I'm pretty sure.
I know we didn't lose many in a quite a long space, and even then it was like when we weren't playing well, we just knew how to win. We knew how to get that last try just to put us out of reach, or that last try just to put us back in front. And I think it was again a disappointing end. I think the way we probably could have wrapped up the league shield at home, and then we went to Wigan and lost. Again, we played well against Wigan. It was just Wigan are one of them teams, and they always are.
You always find a way to win, don't
they? Yeah, they find a way to win. They're always in the game.
That Wigan game, I remember the semi-final. Was it the semi-final in the Super League? Yeah, I remember we didn't start great, did we? Because I think we were behind, and then I think who was it that scored? Stevie Michaels scored that really weird try where he put it down, but then Gildart ran up the other end.
And
there was a video ref to see. Obviously came back then, and then I think it was Sam Powell scored quite late on, and then Gowan scored to kind of just finish it.
To wrap it up.
Which obviously was gutting. So obviously you want to get to a grand final. I mean, but I think that team probably playing Wigan. I mean, playing Warrington in the final, maybe. I mean, could have won it, but I still think to this day the 2017 team could have won it against Castleford.
I think we'd have had as good a chance as any. I think that season we played Warrington 4 times. We played them at Easter and beat them. We played them at their ground and beat them. We played them in the Champions Cup final and beat them. So they beat us at our ground, like KC, for the league leaders, which for them it was probably a bit of redemption from the last 3 performances. So I think if we had have got to the grand final, I think we'd have beat them. Yeah, I mean, I mean,
it'd been interesting to see if we got there. Obviously, I think we probably would have done, but I just think after the cup win, we kind of went on a bit of a bad run of form, didn't we? It was kind of like, I think we beat Wakefield, and then I don't think we beat.
No, in the 8s we weren't great. I can't remember all the games that we played, but we beat was it Wakefield away, wasn't it?
We beat them. I think that was the last win before the end of the season, I think. Because I remember that was like one of the only wins after the cup. But it was just like, obviously, I think that cup win in 2016 though, like, how did that obviously feel?
It was unbelievable. I think, like we said earlier on about the whole never win at Wembley thing, it was like it was a lot more prominent then, like I say, than it was in 2018. I don't really remember people really saying much about it, but certainly in 16, obviously because they've been in 8, 13 and now 16, it's like it's just going to keep going, and obviously to get the win and get that off our backs, and it just puts an end to the Rovers song. That ends it for
that's them. The only thing you want. Well, it's not the only thing. As a fan, it's good, because obviously they've not got that over us anymore.
But as a player, for me, it was sort of the first real trophy that I'd won. Obviously we won the under-20s comp, we got to the grand final, I'd won a £1 million game, but you don't get anything for a £1 million game, you don't get a medal for that, you just get a job. So being able to say that I'm a Challenge Cup winner was outstanding.
Obviously then 2017 you did it again. I mean, did it kind of just feel a bit like, what on earth's just happened, we've just done it twice, or was it more like...
Going into that season and going into the Cup, Andy Last he made some big statements about it's our trophy. We don't let it go. If we let it go, someone has to be really good to take it off us, because it's ours. So we're not trying to win it now, we're trying to keep it. So I think that really helped, and that sort of struck a chord with a lot of people, and just something a bit different. It's ours, we're keeping it. So I think that certainly helped, and that, like, again, another amazing win. Like, and again, creating history. So not only the first team to win it at Wembley for Hull FC, but the first time that Hull FC's ever won it 2 years on the bounce. It was something to be real proud of, and we had a few people who was obviously leaving. Obviously Gaz was leaving. The main one. So winning it again for Gaz was good. It was just a shame again that we couldn't get to the grand final.
Obviously that lost to Leeds, won it in the semi. It's quite weird. We played Wigan in the 2016 semi-final in the Cup, and then the Super League, and then we played Leeds in the semi-final in the Cup, and then the Super League, which
different results on both.
I mean, that Leeds semi-final, what was that like? Obviously, again, losing in the semi-final, was it?
I didn't actually play. No, I didn't actually play in that one. No, it was one of the only games I missed that year. So I didn't play, but watching it was horrible to watch. And we didn't play particularly well, but we were still in it.
We didn't play well, did we? But we were still in it.
I think we had chances to win it.
It was Sutcliffe that scored at the end. So obviously South Ronnie now. So
I think we definitely could have won that game. Probably just playing an extra 10% better. We just
We always seem to go in the lead in the semi-final, but then always just seem to kind of fade away in the last few minutes. It's very annoying. Obviously then 2018, kind of just a very odd season. Started off, obviously the Australia tour, how was that like?
That was really good. Obviously we'd made a bit of history in the first Super League game outside of Europe. And it's, for me, like, I've been to Australia a couple of times because I've got family out there, so that was like the third time I'd been, but like I got to see different parts of it, and obviously a different experience. We've been with the team and like there to do a job. Really, it's not a holiday. As much as we did get downtime and free time to do stuff, we was very much there to obviously win a game. And again, that didn't go our way. But it was an unreal experience playing out there, and the ground at Illawarra is a really good place. And then obviously to get to play at the Olympic Stadium against St George, that friendly was really good. So
we brought St George quite close as well, didn't we? Because I remember we had quite a good game in St George. We were just quite unlucky towards the end of the game. Obviously the Wigan game was a bit. I think that was quite close as well, but I don't think it was as close as the St George game.
No, well, the Wigan game, it was a bit like we lost Beretta. He got knocked out, and then Danny Houghton went off injured. So we lost 2 players. So we played like 60 minutes of the game with 15 men, and people playing out of position. Like me and Dean Hadley was sort of interchanging between centre and back row. Jake was on the wing instead of playing centre and things like that. So it was. We probably didn't do as well as maybe we should have done because we were still a very good team, but there was reasons for that.
Obviously then we beat. I'm trying to think. Did we win the cup that year? I know we played St Helens.
We got knocked out, didn't we, by St Helens? We played Featherstone.
That was it.
Played Featherstone, didn't we?
In an absolute World War III game.
It was a bit rough and ready, wasn't it? And then, but again, when St Helens away, I think we was in with a chance of that, but then at one point we only had 11 players on the pitch. I think myself and you and Danny Houghton. We might have had 3 yellow cards, but at one point we only
I know we went because I think there was a crusher tackle that Houghton did. I can't remember what you got Simbin for.
For kneeing someone.
It
was only like a little soft knee as well, like more of a get off rather than kneeing.
It was against LNS won it as well. I think that's why. I think he probably milked it.
It was my fault. It was right in front of the ref. It's probably been stupid. Right in front of the ref, but he just had his head on me, so I just sort of shoved him away with my knee. But I think we had 3 sin binnings, but at one point 2 of them was at the same time. And that killed us. So I'll take some blame for that.
Still close though. Like Aki Malouda scored right at the end, didn't he? And it was like I think there was only a few points in it, and I think it was gutting though because obviously we won it 2 years on the bounce, and it was like we've got a love for the cup anyway now because of them 2 years. But it was absolute gutting. Obviously, I mean, obviously that season wasn't great with injuries, was it? I think we kind of lost very influential players in the team, and then
it sort of lost. We lost our way a bit towards the back end of that. We had a lot of players, so like Sneedy was out for a lot of it.
Yeah.
I think Albie missed a lot of it.
Yeah.
Josh Bowden missed a lot of it, and then I think Danny Alton missed a fair chunk of it. So I think in between, sort of people being in and out, and it made it very hard.
Yeah.
But that's what you have a squad for, isn't it? So
I'm trying to think of games that obviously you had that Wakefield game. Obviously, when we got battered by Wakefield away, Sneak came back for that, didn't he? But obviously, how does it feel being like obviously getting battered by teams? Like, it's obviously not nice, but
no, it's not. But I didn't play against that. I actually told Radders afterwards. I said that's the first time I've not played Wakefield since I come back, and it's the first time they'd beat us. So I said it's your fault for not picking me. Since from coming back from Wakefield to Hull, we've not lost against Wakefield. So I told Radders that, but obviously at the time they weren't very happy to hear it. But
but I mean, 2019 I think was a bit of a better year, I suppose. Obviously we had a bit of a more chance to get in playoffs, but again, end of the season we kind of just faded away. But that was obviously our last year at Hull. So when did you kind of know that you was leaving Hull?
Probably like towards the back end of the 18 season.
Yeah.
It was about halfway through the 18 season. They'd actually offered me the chance to become a coach. So go on the coaching setup alongside Gaz Ellis and like be one of the assistants in 2019. But I felt like I'd had a bit more running in me.
Yeah.
And also I was applying for a testimonial, and I thought I would rather be a player and having a testimonial.
Yeah.
So I declined the job and obviously played a lot of games in 2018, so did get another contract.
Yeah.
But Radder sort of made it clear to me that I wouldn't be playing as much, that he had players that we wanted to bring into the team, like younger kids like Laney and people like that, who he felt was going to be the future of the team, and whereas I was getting older, that he wanted to give them more game time, and that's what happens when you get to the back end of your career. You know that kind of thing's going to happen. And then before I knew it, the first game of the season, Rovers away, and I was starting half-back, so it
was very weird. Because obviously we didn't have Sneed or Kelly, did we? So it was very...
No, Sneedy played.
Oh,
Jake. Jake was banned.
Sorry.
And we didn't... Albie had left, I think, hadn't he?
No, we were still... He left in 2020. But obviously he played because it was COVID and kind of, injuries and stuff like that. But
so I think Albie must have been injured and Jake was banned, so it was me and Sneedy at halves. And we nearly did it. We nearly pulled it off.
Very nearly, Last 6 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That season was very odd, wasn't it? I think I had a few decent wins against Warrington, Wigan as well. Wigan we beat, didn't we? Because to end that losing streak. Did you play against Wigan? I'm trying to think.
I can't remember.
Sneedy got a drop goal.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't. That was in the blue kit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, I didn't play in that. I only played about 6 games that year.
Yeah.
And I know I played in a couple of wins. We played in Warrington away.
Yeah, I remember.
Played in that.
I should remember this.
Yeah, played in Castleford away. We won that.
Yeah.
Salford away. We won that. So I think most of the games I played in managed to win, which is all right. But, I didn't play many.
Oh, it was his testimonial year, wasn't it? So you obviously played with Danny Cairmond in the testimonial against Wakefield. I mean, what's it like having a testimonial game? I mean.
Yeah, it was good. It was nice we got like a decent turnout, and it was nice to share it with Kermo, really, because obviously me and him, we got on really well at Wakefield, and sort of spent 4 years sat next to each other in the changing rooms, because he was in the back row and I was in the back row, so it was nice to share it, and It's hard work. There's a lot of work goes into it behind the scenes, and like people think it's all the nice events, but there's a lot of planning that goes into it, and meetings and things like that. So it's hard work, but it's sort of a nice reward for either playing for a team for 10 years or managing to play 300 games. Obviously, it's a big milestone. So it's obviously Shawley's got his, which is fully deserved, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he gets up to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously left Hull in 2019, went on to York. Obviously, that your season there was kind of destructive because of COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, we only played 5 games. We played 5 games, and then that was it. Season over. We didn't even get going again. Yeah. They said it wasn't worth it, money wise, because. The championship, the championship. A lot of it, because they're not on Sky. A lot of them comes from ticket sales and things like that. So it wasn't really viable for the clubs to sort of do it. So we got fair load. But I really enjoyed the first sort of couple of month and a half. It was weird because I was thinking of retiring at the end of 2019.
Right.
So I booked to go to a friend's wedding. So one of my friends lives in Australia. Yeah. So I booked to go to his wedding in February. Yeah. And then I got a phone call off John Flatman, who was the chairman at York, and he asked me to sign for them and just talked me through a few things. And I met with Fordy and ended up signing for them. And one thing I said to him, I said, look, I'm going to a wedding in February, and I think it's around the time that the season starts. And he said, well, there's nothing you can do about that now. We'll just have to deal with it. So I missed 2 games, so I think I only played 4 games. And the first one was Toulouse away. So I went to France on the Friday, played on the Saturday, came home on the Sunday, and then on the Tuesday flew out to Australia. So it was a bit of a busy time. And then obviously when I was away, the results didn't go our way with York, and then when I got back, I think we played 1 league game and 1 cup game, and then that was it, season over. And then again, I was thinking of retiring at the end of that year. I thought I'll just do 1 year at York and retire, and then we had 6 months off, and my body sort of.
Was it because of COVID? It was kind of like, I can't retire yet.
I think I just didn't want to go out. Like it'd have been like a bit of a damp ending to my career, like to not even play. So I signed on for 2021 again, and again it wasn't a great season for York. We had a really good team, but we just didn't click on the field. And it was really hit and miss. We had some really good wins and some terrible losses, but then towards the back end of the season, we just managed to put a run of a few games together, and I really enjoyed it. It was like I just played with a lot of freedom. It was just like, these are my last 5 games of rugby league ever. Just enjoy it. Managed to, my last ever game, we was at home. Scored a try. Got the win.
A few all players come to see watch you, didn't they? I'm trying to think.
There was a few there. I can't remember who it was now, but there's a couple there because there was someone else playing. I can't remember who it was. There was someone else playing as well who they'd come to see and things like that. So it was it was a really good game. Really enjoyed it. And it was very emotional. Like when I scored my try, and everybody was jumping all over me. It was nice.
Obviously retired. Like what did you go into after retiring? I know you did teach because you've taught me before.
Okay.
So
at the end of 2019, that was when I knew that, like, obviously being at York, it's only part time, so I knew I had to get a job. And the guy who I know called Tom Simpson, he owned like a recruitment agency which did education recruitment, so like supply teachers and stuff like that. So for like the back end of 19, so like October, November, December, after the season had finished, I did what they call cover supervisor, which is like a supply teacher, but you don't teach. Everything's put there for you, so you just read out what they say, and you're basically just a babysitter. So you're just a glorified babysitter. So apologies for any cover supervisors calling them glorified babysitter. And then I was going to start a job as a consultant for them, so like a recruitment consultant. But then Tom left. He then left there, so I thought, what now? and he started up another firm, so me and him opened an office, this new firm in Hull, and I still work for them now. We're called Novum Personnel, and I've been working for them ever since.
Right, well, I think that's your career done. Got some questions from followers, so I'll get them up. I don't want to affect the recording. Obviously, do you have you watched all? Do you watch much rugby league? Obviously.
Yeah. I still watch it a fair bit. I watch all now and again.
I'll see if there's this. Well, I got a question similar to what I asked earlier. How did you feel about returning to Hull after playing for Wakefield?
Just felt like I probably owed the club. Well, not owed the club, but owed it to myself to sort of prove that I was a good player. Like when I'd left, sort of the last sort of 2 years before I left, and been in and out of the team because I picked up 2 fairly bad injuries in 2009. So I missed probably 2/3 of the season in 2009, which then once you've missed that amount of, I mean, you only have to look at players these days in the team. If you're out of the team for a long time because of injury, sometimes it's hard to get back in.
I mean, just look at Charlie, obviously.
Charlie is an example of that, and Bowden one of the first names on the team sheet for 16 and 17, and then obviously does his knees out for a long time, and it's hard to get back into it. So I felt like coming back, I'd played 4 years at Wakefield, and out of 120 games, I think I played 116 or something like that. So
got a bit of a funny one here. What made him run for president in 2016 after such a successful Challenge Cup run?
Well, that was it. I thought won the Challenge Cup, hadn't we? So I might as well try and win something else. But that was Scott Taylor. He came up with the nickname Donald Trump because me and him used to share lifts.
Right.
And after training, I've got real fluffy hair. Obviously not now because I've hardly got any, but I had real fluffy hair. So whenever I got a shower, it was fluffy. And obviously we would train in summer. So we got the window down, so my hair was blowing all over, and it was like he looked like Donald Trump. So.
Favourite moment of your career?
Winning the Challenge Cup in 2016.
Right. I mean, obviously, I think it's probably many all players' favourite moment. What's your best experience with a fan?
Best experience what?
With a fan.
With a fan? I don't know. It's a tough one though. I don't know. It's a strange question, that. Best experience with a fan. I think I've had some really good experiences, like, being able to do stuff for people. So whether it's go and do a presentation for a rugby team, or go and speak to someone or meet someone, or like, there's been things where like people are like, I always found it real surprising when someone told me that I was a favourite player. I was thinking, why am I your favourite? There's all them other players, like, why would I be your favourite? So just like that kind of thing.
Similar question again, like, how's life outside of rugby? Obviously retired now, so I was,
it's going good. I'm not like overly missing rugby. I think I've sort of ran its course, played for 17 years, so it's not like I didn't feel like I had any more to give. And don't do anything to do with rugby now. I mean, I worked with New Zealand during the World Cup. I was like a team liaison officer, but that was 4 or 5 weeks. But apart from that, I don't really have any involvement in rugby league apart from watching it now and again.
Obviously, how was that being a part of the New Zealand group? How was that? Obviously,
it was really good. There was a real welcoming bunch, and I really enjoyed it. It was like just a really good to experience international rugby because I've never played it, and a World Cup. Being a part of the World Cup was a really good experience.
I think it was probably a really well run World Cup as well. I think obviously first World Cup in 5 years. Obviously, I mean, Old Trafford I think was quite busy as well, and that was quite good to see.
I went to the final, and it was. I was pleased with the size of the crowd.
I think Just it shows though, doesn't it? Like if you promote it well enough, you can get crowds, and it's like I think. Yeah, I was really, especially when it went England as well. Obviously, people bought tickets thinking England were going to get there. But
I think when we was there, people was really sort of bought into the whole Samoa, David v Goliath type thing.
I think everyone loves an underdog though. So I think that's probably Favorite game ever played in, and favorite game that you didn't win.
Favourite game that I didn't win?
Yeah.
Oof. So, favourite game I've ever played in was an easy one again, 2016 Challenge Cup final, because of just what it is. But my favourite game that I played in but didn't win. Oh, it's a strange one, that. I'll probably say either the Old Trafford, playing at Old Trafford in the grand final, like in my first sort of full season, like. That was an experience in itself, and the 2008 Challenge Cup final. Right. Again, it's like no one likes losing, but it was the first time I've ever played at Wembley, and that was the first time I've ever played at Old Trafford, and things like the only time I've ever played at Old Trafford. So
it's obviously such a prestigious stadium as well. It's obviously great to play there, and not many players get to play there anyway.
No.
Best player you've played with, and why?
Best player I've played with, I always say Gaz Ellis.
Yeah.
There was just something about him, like he had everything. Like he could hit, he could run the ball, he had good feet. Obviously, by the time I played with him, he was like a bit later on in his career, so maybe wasn't as quick and as agile, but he still had good feet. His work ethic was unreal, but it was just something about Gaz. When Gaz was in the team, we was a better team.
I mean,
everybody was a better player.
You look at when it came back as well. Like it came back against Wigan and we won. It was like kind of like.
Yeah.
You know, like it was like them 2 seasons. Well, the season without him, you kind of missed him. Whereas like when he came back, he was like we had a bit about us because I think he's one of them characters, isn't he? Like he is a very big character in. Yeah. And I think having him in the coaching team, I think helps a lot because I think.
Yeah, I think guys like skills wise, like Tim Smith is probably the best player I've played with skills wise. He was unreal. But yeah, just like as the all-rounder, Gaz was, like I said, there's just something about Gaz.
Yeah.
When he played, we was better.
Yeah. Jamie Shaw has said, why doesn't he push his team?
I'm just going by the example he sets.
You didn't play in the 2005 Challenge Cup final, did you?
The 2005 one, no.
No, I was because someone put it and I was just like, I'm convinced he didn't play in it. So yeah, because we were saying what was it like to play against Gareth Ellis? I mean, obviously.
Oh, I did play. I played against Gareth Ellis. Yeah, it was. I played against Gaz like when he was at Leeds, and he was really good. And then obviously he went to Wests and he was even better. And then when he came back to Hull, like he'd been this awesome player in the NRL, and we did some video for Wakefield against Hull, and it was like if you run like a hard inside shoulder line on Gaz Ellis, he'll bang you. So don't give him the ball, go out the back to the full back because he turns in that hard to bang you that he can't get off to try and get to the full back. So then we get numbers, and we played, and Tim Smith just hit me short, and Gaz absolutely walloped me and knocked me off my feet, and Tim Smith just runs past and goes, "Oh, sorry." And I thought, yeah, cheers. But yeah, so that's my one memory from playing against Gaz, getting absolutely walloped back.
Yeah, can hear it's all the time. Like if you tackled someone, you could hear it, and I'm sat right at the top of the KC, could still hear it. It's like it's unbelievable. That's all the questions from the followers. Just gonna go to more like probably like what was your favourite away ground to play in?
Favourite away ground was Headingley. I really liked Headingley, and I like it even better now. Now it's been done. Obviously I've not played there since it's been done, but I've been a couple of times and it's really nice.
Favourite player you didn't play with?
Favourite player I didn't play with. This was a favourite player. I would say a favourite player I didn't play with, and I never got to play against him. Was Andy Farrell. He was someone who I admired him when I was growing up.
Right.
I never got a chance to play against him. I think it was 2004 he left to go play rugby union, and I didn't start until 2005. So.
trying to think of other questions I could ask. Obviously, my mind's gone blank. Favourite memory at the KC or MKM?
Favourite memory? Probably beating Rovers in the playoff. I think it was a playoff game. Oh, it might not have been a playoff game, but it was when Tom Briscoe tackled Peter Fox into touch.
Oh, 2010.
Because it was 2010, and I think we had like probably 4 or 5 of our sort of like main players not playing, and everybody expected us to lose, and we won. So that was a good one. But yeah, some awesome moments there. The first derby there when Rovers came back in the Super League, winning that was a good one.
Yeah. What was it like? Actually, that St Helens try, the try scoring St Helens, where he obviously caught it from the dropout, and then kind of just like I think John Turner came in to tackle you, and he bounced off him and like scored. What was that like?
That was good. Everybody always says that like they laugh at that try because I knew it was a short kick-off and it was like it'd gone over me, so I had my back turned to it. I thought as soon as I catch this, I'm getting walloped. Like I thought whoever's coming is just like if I was on the other team, now I was coming.
Yeah, you just go
straight in the ribs and I thought that's what was coming. So I just sort of braced. And ready for it, and he just obviously went straight over the top of my head and managed to score. But it was my first try of the season as well, so I wasn't.
Favourite win, not the cup final though, but just favourite win in general. Like
favourite win in general. For Hull, I'd say Warrington away in 2016 when Minnie scored that real good try. And then who else scored? Was it Gaz? I think Gaz
scored quite well on
the sticks. I think that was a real like they was flying at the time as we was, and it was just a real tough game going head to head.
It was a proper top of the table clash, wasn't it?
And then like for Wakefield, we played Leeds once when they brought Monday night games in, and we played Leeds on a Monday night, and we played in a charity kit, and we didn't often get very many wins against Leeds, and we managed to beat them, so that was a real good win.
I mean, obviously that we didn't win at Airlie for ages either. How was it to obviously win against Leeds? I'd assume you played. 2019 won it. I don't know if
was it 2019.
Yeah,
I might not have played then. If it was 2019, I might not have played.
I was just thinking because obviously Leeds. No, I don't.
Yeah, well, in 2016, obviously Leeds was not doing great, and we was on a real good run. And they was the team that beat us, and it was like we just can't. It's them. They just had something over us, and they was playing rubbish at the time.
We didn't beat them in 2016. No, like they were the only team we didn't beat in 2016, and it's like obviously they must have something over us because I mean if we can't beat them, I mean, I think. Yeah, it was genuinely the only team we didn't beat in that year because obviously home and away we lost because I think it was on a real good run and then played Leeds at home, got beat, and it was like, what's just happened? Like we've been on a real good run and we just got beat by Leeds. Like, I think that'll do us. Thanks for coming on.
It's alright. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We've got another guest coming on hopefully soon. We'll announce it in the coming days. Thanks for watching. Bye.